sure.
Pull up and put the driveway, let's look like a prison yard. You can see somebody's cooking property. You'd be amazed. I ain't done in Vegas in city years.
I wasn't even thinking of it.
That's my fault.
This is one of these things. I just.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the October 1st, 2019 Union County Planning Board into session, approximately 7 o'clock. And we'd like to make the recommendation, second, to make Christopher Patrick voting member and Robert voting member tonight. Do I have a motion for that? Thank you, Patrick. Do I have a second? Thank you, Charles. Gentlemen, y'all are voting for that. Thank you. Third, on additions, deletions to the agenda, I'd like to ask for a motion to delete item number 5, minutes, since there are none. Do you have a motion? Thank you, Charlie. Do you have a second? Robert, thank you. Okay. The next item on the agenda is CZ 2019013, Twin Lakes Senior Living Facility Amendment. Would you like to bring that to lead? Tell us about what we're going to talk about.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you stated, this is an amendment to a previously approved rezoning. This is the Twin Lakes Senior Living Facility. It's at the corner of Waxhaw Indian Trail Road and Beulah Church Road. The original request was for 182 unit age restricted. It does say targeted. It is restricted living facility. The approved plans call for the facility as parking, access requirements, amenities, and all the conditions, etc. One of those written conditions stated that was shown on the conceptual plan was for a building with a maximum size of 70,000 square feet. And what should have been on those plans was a maximum of 70,000 square feet per floor. And that is the change. Unfortunately, it is a slight technical correction, but since those written conditions were approved that way, it does have to go back through the process to be amended. Again, the conceptual plan and all the amenities that were approved as part of the original rezoning are the same. So what the planning board and the board of commissioners saw during the applicant's presentation is what's still intended to be built. Still a 3-story building, still some of the original materials that were called out, still 182 units. So there's no need to redo the TIA because the TIA was based on the number of units, not the size of the building, because you're basing it on the number of people. I'll run through this really quickly. This is the area map that you see here. So again, the corner, this is Waxhaw Indian Trail Road, and you have Beulah Church Road that runs in front of the facility. There's a traffic circle right there. It is close to Wesley Chapel, which is right across the street, right across Waxhaw Indian Trail Road, and just to the north. And then also Weddington is pretty close, sits off the map just to the north and just a tad to the west. Both those towns were notified. The mayor of Weddington did show up to the community meeting. I believe she was the only person that was there. Again, this property is undeveloped. There's nothing on the site now. However, I do have some pictures I'll share with you in a minute, which you saw during the original presentation, but I'd like to go through them again. Zoning on the site, this has not been updated yet because of the how recent the last rezoning was. The tax office has not had a chance to get that new district out there. But there is a R4 district at the corner. That's where the Twin Lakes facility, that was the district that was approved for that. Everything else on the map shows R40, and there's a B4 just to the north, and that's a convenience store.
Okay.
No major environmental features on the site where the facility was approved. There is a stream that runs through the site. There is some floodplain associated with that stream, really more of a pond than the stream at this point, so there is some floodplain associated with that. As far as transportation impacts, there was a TIA that was done as part of this process. Did not show many major impacts to this site. The site does take internal access through a neighborhood that's also proposed, so it's not taking direct access to Beulah Church Road. Again, it's taking internal access. Waxhaw Indian Trail Road is proposed in the future to be a 4-lane with curb and gutter. That is not a funded project. That's just on the transportation improvement plan. Yes, sir.
Explain that again, the access?
Oh,
It's not a direct access?
I'll jump back. It'll be easier to see on this. So this road was approved as part of the subdivision that's approved on this site as well. And
So it's still an access off of Beulah Church?
it is an access off of Beulah Church, yes, sir. The senior living center does not have a direct curb cut onto Beulah Church Road. Waxhaw Indian Trail Road is proposed to be a 4-lane road in the future with curb and gutter. However, that is not a funded project, so we don't know when that will happen. It's just, this is in the TIP. You can see there's a traffic count of about 9,400 vehicle trips a day. That was based on late 2016. So that's about a 3-year-old traffic count, but that's the most recent one that DOT has at that area. And then there's one just to the east on Beulah that's about 1,900 trips a day. And that's, Beulah's shown as a 2-lane road in the future. And I did have a couple of other slides. So this is the one, I think you guys saw this when the original rezoning came through for the Twin Lakes facility. This is the Twin Lakes subdivision. This is an approved subdivision on this site. It's a cluster development, so you've got some common area, little bit smaller lot sizes. And then this is how the senior living facility kind of fits in with that. So wanted you to be able to see the overall plan there.
Lee, just a reminder that that community is not age restricted or targeted. It's just,
Correct. The subdivision is not age restricted or age targeted. This is,
that's what I recall.
the subdivision would be open to anyone. The Twin Lakes Senior Living Facility is age restricted. But again, this is just, I wanted to show you this just for context, just to see what was already approved. The amendment that's before you is just to add the words per floor into those conditions, which really should have been there in the first place. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. The applicant is here. I think they might do a short presentation.
Lee, how come on the request here says age targeted if it's not?
So that is the original. I wanted you guys to be able to, in your packets, have all the materials. So if you'll look on that first page that comes in your packets, the one that says Union County at the top, Planning Board, you'll see at the bottom where it's got those attachments. So the first few attachments are the approved plans, conditions, etc. So that is actually the original application that was filed back in early, maybe late 2018. So that's the original application. So I think when it originally came in, they put age targeted, but as we went through the process, the conditions that were approved were actually age restricted. And we referenced the whole federal guidelines that we talk about age restrictions and how that the 80-20 breakdown. So it is an age restricted development. But that was just the original application that was filed by the applicant back in May of 2018. when that's filed, we don't have the ability to go back and change what the applicant originally said. What changes is the conditions that are negotiated as part of the process. So what's originally filed for may be slightly different than what's approved at the end. And that's how conditional rezoning should work.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any questions for Lee?
Yes, Lee, the development standards and conditions pages that we have here, are these the ones that were originally filed, or are these the ones that we're working off of tonight?
You actually have both. You have both in your package. The first set, if you'll notice the date on there, you have 11/19/18. That's the original, that's the original approved set of drawings for the rezoning and conditions. And then there's some pictures behind that, then there's a picture of the plan that I just showed up on the board, and then there's the development standards and conditions. And then you have a second one that's dated 8/22/19. And that's the modified version that says per floor.
Lee, that's not in the
talking
negative
about this?
17-point font, right?
It should be,
I just want to make sure we're not implicating ourselves here.
Here you go, Christopher.
let me,
You guys see it, let me know.
Read.
Here's
I can read it.
Which is, targeted
This one, development standards?
on the application.
Is that on the first one?
Yeah, according to Lee, though, it just changed.
that's the
As it went through the process, that's very restricted.
unfortunately, I don't have the ability to make that law.
Probably got in the case they would not
It
change
goes out
this.
to these
This is,
packages.
by the way, you got.
That one?
And I can't,
Lee, I don't know what I'm looking at.
unfortunately, when we input this into our software that does the agendas, it shrinks it down to a size that we don't have control over how big that is. When it was originally filed, it's 11/17. Of course, it's digital, you can zoom in on that. But when we didn't we input it into our software system to produce those agenda packets and print them, we don't have the ability to make those any larger. Now, I can pull it up on here so you can see it.
I need to be able to read it. If I'm gonna be voting on it, I need to be able to read it.
Yes, sir. So this is the page you're referring to that's up on your screen right now.
Yes.
And that's why I put this in here. I actually wasn't, I was anticipating those questions, so, and this is a section that's changing, the one that's bubbled. It's kind of in,
There.
cloud there.
There you go.
Thank you.
Got old people up here, remember that. All right, there you bingo, yeah, all right.
Scroll down just a little bit here.
Sure. I'm sorry?
The verbiage above the bubbled area,
This one, design guidelines?
the
Okay,
top of the page.
gotcha.
Whoa.
He's restricted, yeah. Does square foot, yeah.
Lee, it says on this item number 2 here in general provisions, conceptual master plan, what does it mean when it says the maximum building envelope line and intensity limitations established on the technical data sheet are not violated? What does that mean?
But how far down are you?
I'm at the bottom of that paragraph.
Bottom of that paragraph? Here we go. Oh, so what that means is that when you look here, let's see, let me zoom out just a little bit. So when you look here and you've got this kind of building envelope in this location, these are all conceptual type plans. So there's, they haven't gone out and done geotech work on some of this stuff. They've done some, but not to get to the point where you can go out there and break ground tomorrow. So what that's saying is, if they go out and this building needs to be tweaked somewhat, let's say that, and I'm just giving you an example here, where this building kind of curves right here, if that needs to be straightened out for some reason, that they're allowed to do that, without coming back to go through a rezoning process.
What about the number of rooms or units in that building?
182.
Okay, when they say not violated, does that mean not exceeded? As far as that number is concerned?
Yeah, so they're talking about the technical data sheet. So you're talking about, you've got access points here, you've got your development area, and then you've got your conceptual site plan. So as long as they're staying within the parking parameters, that they're staying within the number of units, as long as they are adhering to the type of materials that they call out. So as long as they build that building primarily according to that conceptual plan, then they would not be in violation, that they would be okay. That it mainly means that some minor tweaks of those buildings can be approved at a staff level that don't have to come back to a planning board.
Are the number of units finite?
Yes.
Okay.
If yes, if they want at some point to change that number of units, if for some reason they don't want to do 182 and they want to go less than that, then that's not a problem. This is a maximum number of units, so they can't go over 182. I'll zoom in just a tad more.
Lee, going forward, if we have a situation like this where we've got something that is in the package that's too small to read, can we assume that from now on we'll have it?
What we can do is pull this out as a Word document and put that in the packet kind of separately, so it can be a little bit bigger. Yeah,
It'd be good
we can do
if we
that.
could.
Yeah.
Charlie's got a good point.
Sure, I understand. No.
Union County can figure out a way to get it.
Sure. Yeah.
We got a lot of talented people who work here. Y'all should know how to do this.
Any other questions for Lee? Okay.
Thanks,
Lee,
Lee.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. Would the applicant like to come forward and introduce yourself, and your name, address?
Sure.
What you do?
Hi, my name is Mark Kime. I live at 1819 Yellow Daisy Drive in Matthews. I'm the landscape architect of record for this project. I work for Land Design. And thanks for hearing us again tonight. As Lee alluded to, this is an error of omission. We're not proposing any other changes to the facility, parking, number of spaces, changing the intensity of the development, or access points. So really at this point, I'm here as well as Dale Stewart and Gene Vaughn, and we're here to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions of the landscape architect? Okay. If none, then next. Come up, state your name, where you live, you got any comments that you want to make, what you do for the farm?
I'm Dale Stewart. I live at 5301 Mountain Point Lane in Charlotte. I'm the engineer of record for this project, or will be if the project goes forward. I'm the engineer of record for the residential section that we've designed and approved now. I guess the only thing I would say to all of you is that we sort of apologize for this error and that we had to bring you out on another night to have another meeting with us. We appreciate your willingness to hear this again. And we just want you to know, we did everything we could, working with the staff to say, is there any other option? You know, is there some way? But it's just enough of an issue that we needed to go back through the process. So we appreciate your time.
Thank you. You good? Yes, sir. Good. Okay. Any other comments or questions from the applicant that you may have here at the board? Okay. If not, is there a motion to move it on up or decline? What's the wish of the board?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Louis. Do we have a second? Second, Robert. All those in favor, say aye. Raise your
Aye.
right hand. Okay. So therefore,
It was 4-2.
no. Okay. One no. Charlie, what did you do? Okay. Okay. So 4-2. 4-2. Okay. With that, excuse me. With that, gentlemen, we appreciate you being here. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is planning staff report. Lee?
So we're just going to give you a quick update on the comp plan process. We went to the board last month and gave an update regarding the opening of applications to serve on the boards and committees. And those applications went live. I think you all should have gotten an email for those boards and committees. If you're interested in applying, please apply if you haven't already. If you're not interested, but you know some people who might be interested, please forward those out to anybody who you think might be. We also sent those to. The county has several email lists that were hit from the 9th floor. We had Park and Recreation, Board of Adjustment. So it's gone out to a lot of different folks. We worked with the Andrew Balcom over at Cooperative Extension to get it out to the farming community. We've been working with some folks to get it out to the real estate and development community. And then we have several lists of citizens that it went out to as well. So, so far we've gotten slightly over 125 applications back. So we have a lot of interest in this process, which is a good thing. We want a lot of people to be involved and stay involved. We'll be sorting through, I think the application process officially closes toward the end of October. We will be sorting through those applications and taking some a geographic distribution of folks to the board as sort of a recommendation. Ultimately, the Board of Commissioners will make those final appointments to those committees.
That'll be November 4th.
But no, yes, that's right. That'll be the November 4th meeting.
Any other comments? Dick, you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you for the planning staff report. Is there any comments as we wind down from any of the board members? Robert?
No, sir.
Charlie? Patrick?
No, sir.
Chris?
No, sir.
None for me. Would like the motion then to adjourn. Thank you, Patrick. Do we have a second? Charlie? Thank you. With that, those in favor say aye. Raise your
Aye.
right hand. Yep, thank you. Thanks, everybody.